Hello everyone, Zazu here, and welcome to my movement optimization guide for Ophilia Single Story. This is going to be the first one in a series of, I guess, movement optimization guides. I'm not entirely sure what sort of shortcuts and stuff I'll be including, but I guess we're gonna find out soon. I'll be mostly focusing on, well, movement. And if you're looking for general tips and guidelines for Ophilia Single Story, mainly the Thief Shrine route, you can go and watch Sanjan's beginner guide for that. I'll be linking that in the description if you are interested. And before we start, I'm gonna show my controls here, my button setup, because I'm playing on a Switch controller, so anything or any of the letters that I say probably won't be applying for an Xbox controller. So yeah, there it is. Excellent, beautiful. All right, so to start off, this is just a general tip. We'll be just loading any save. You can do this on an old save or a new save file. I like to open up with Ophilia Single Story because it's very fast and you can quit out very quickly after one cutscene. And then we'll start with the actual run. And as I said, we'll be going with Ophilia today. Here in the very beginning, you just want to run straight. You bonk into the pillar, but that's no big deal. And I'll probably be hopping from section to section because, well, there's no need to watch the whole run. Okay, here you just run straight. I guess I'll comment at this beginning and then in the later parts where we'll just jump forward. Okay, after these cutscenes, you want to hug the bottom wall, and that way you can quickly make it out through the entrance. And soon, or in the next screen, we'll see our first, I guess, kind of a shortcut into the cutscene. So here you can hug this bottom fence, or be close to it, and just run straight into the brazier. Or torch, or whatever you want to call it, the flame, and that will get you straight into the cutscene. Very handy. And then this might be the only time I talk about shopping, but there is something you can kind of optimize here. So you can use the side menus here, or sub menus like I like to call them. So by pressing R, we go into the weapons, and that way we can go down. So we go into the shop, R to switch to the weapon menu, and then just press up to go to the bottom of the menu and buy the staff. Very quick and nice. And actually there's still one more thing here that I can show. Well, we'll see if it happens. But on the path to the Cave of Origin, you usually get 2 encounters here, but with a combination of walking and running, you could get through with only 1 encounter. So I'm gonna walk the first part here. That's actually a pretty early encounter. I think if we run in the second half, we might hit another encounter. So I'll just walk to kind of demonstrate that it's possible. It's going to be funny if I actually get the second encounter, but it's totally fine. And there we go. Alright, only 1 encounter. See, it works. Okay, we defeated the Guardian and now we are out. So, general movement guidelines. Try to walk in a straight line as much as possible. Great. Here, we obviously don't talk to Kit. Try to just run straight. Here as well. Alright, Atlasdam Flats. So here we find an encounter, probably ants, and die. So if you're going the Kate route, you probably want to go to the Scholar Shrine. I'm not entirely sure since I haven't ran that myself. But here you can go behind both the save point and the... what do you even call this? The waypoint? Sign? Crossroad sign? Yeah, and with that you can, you know, head up to the Scholar Shrine. Then, okay, so some beginners, including me, mess up here. So you would probably want to follow the road, but you can actually just run straight through here. And that saves you quite a lot of time and steps, since we are going to go to Atlasdam. And next up, I think I will just skip to Atlasdam. See you there. Alright, we have arrived in Atlasdam. So here, very slight optimization, but you can actually walk behind these two ladies. I'm not entirely sure if it actually saves you time. Barely, actually, probably doesn't, but it looks cool. So run from here, go behind the ladies, boom. And then we recruit Cyrus. Alright, and now that we have Cyrus, usually you do want to scrutinize this guard. So I like to do it on the way down. And then we down. Yes, we leave. Head to the plaza. And here, we usually want to scrutinize the girl down there at the square, or on the square, at the square? And there's two ways you could go about this. I think most people like to go the left way, where you go behind these two men and then scrutinize the girl. One that I like to do myself, at least in the past, is go the right way, because there are no NPCs here, so you don't have to curve as far to the left. Here you can kind of just hug the, what do you even call this, the platform? I don't know. And then scrutinize her. I'm not entirely sure which one is faster. I think this might be slightly faster, but the difference is minuscule. And yeah, scrutinize her, and then do the usual stuff. And here again, we can use the sub-menus to get the rod. Then the hat. Yes, 2 hats. And then we run up. And now we'll also pick up the light soulstone that we scrutinized. I like to do it this way because it feels better. Some people like to get it right after scrutinizing the guard. And there shouldn't be anything else on this section. So I'll see you a bit later down the line. Yeah. Alright, we have now defeated Russell. And can continue on our way. Here in the academy, you want to run towards the door. There isn't really any better skip here. And once again, I like to run behind the ladies here. Not entirely sure if you actually save time with it. And here, so you would think that you want to run towards the gate, but you can actually just hug the railing here and run into the wall, and you get into the cutscene trigger. Very handy. And that might be it for this section. Now we head to the Whistlewood, and I actually forgot the menu, so that's beautiful. Okay, actually, never mind. I remembered something else. So for skill menus, now that you have enough JP, we do the usual stuff, the luminescence, and so yeah. Here for skills, you can once again use your R and L buttons here. Instead of backing out and going to Cyrus, you can just press R and go to Cyrus. Very handy. And now You could press B a million times to get out of these menus, but you can just press X and it will get you out of here immediately, like so. Once again, this isn't really a menuing guide, more of a movement guide, but I feel like that is something especially new runners might not know or realize. I know I did this mistake quite a bit when I was starting out. Okay, I keep remembering and realizing that you can do more little skips, so maybe I'll just keep keep the tape running the whole time. So in Whistlewood, here you can go behind the torch, very cool, and then between the bushes here to the chest. I hear some people talk about like curses or stuff when you go behind the torch. I don't know if you should really believe those, but I like to optimize my movement, so I go behind the torch. So yeah, on the way out of Whistlewood, obviously now you do want to follow the road, since we are going to Noblecourt. And once again, we have enough JP, so we go to the menu, learn Blizzard, and then learn invisible maneuvers and X out of it, because it's faster. And now, since we're going to Noblecourt, we could go between the save point and the waypoint, but honestly it doesn't really matter, because we are gonna go up anyway, and diagonally. And now, on the way to Noblecourt. At this point you probably realize you probably shouldn't follow the roads. Here you can just go diagonally through everything here, between the bushes and the trees, and get to Noblecourt. Obviously you can take a bit more optimized route there, if you actually know what you're doing. And then we'll do some more off-road movement. This isn't really a shortcut because, you know, you do this every time. I don't think anyone actually goes, quote-unquote, the wrong way here. And next we'll be heading to Forest of Purgation. And here is actually a small shortcut that I didn't know of when I started running. So here you might want to go in front of the torch and in front of the save point, but well, obviously you can go behind the torch, but you can also go between the trees here. So you can save quite a few steps here, and especially if you have to pick up Therion, or if you do pick up Therion and you want to pick up the Forbidden Dagger chest, you have to go all the way up there as well. So with the extra steps that we save, we shouldn't be getting an encounter here. I have gotten it before. And this torch we can go behind. There, very handy. And yeah. Then on the way to Rippletide. There's some stuff that you could optimize, I suppose, but nothing too major. Once again, try to run in straight lines. Okay, so here, the save point. Some runners like to go behind the save point. I personally like to go in front because, I don't know, it just makes more sense. With the diagonal you can draw and then go up. But as I said, some people, for some reason, like to go behind. Actually, that is kind of nice. So if you hug the wall here, you can just run kind of straight, I guess. But yeah, I like to go in front. I suppose it's personal preference. Doesn't really matter too much. Alright, we have arrived in Rippletide and are picking up Tressa now. Say yes to those, obviously. And now we can pretty much run straight. Here you can go behind the woman, but you kind of bonk into the stall if you do, so it's better to just go in front. And here, nothing much to be said, just follow the wind flags or whatever those things are called. Interestingly, they don't really show up too much here. Alright, and now we reach the cutscene for Tressa's chapter. Here we just skip this first one, or second one, and this one you actually want to press A through and not skip. It's slightly faster. Okay, we have defeated Migemek and are back in town. Here, not really much to be said, you run straight. So here you can go behind this guy. So if you start moving slightly diagonally, you can, you know, go behind him with little trouble. Though it doesn't really save time, because if you just run straight and then diagonal, you don't really gain or lose any time. But once again, it looks cool. And then we leave. Okay, so now we're going to the warrior shrine. And here you can actually go behind the save point, or not save point, the waypoint. I suppose it could be handy, because you can run in a straight diagonal after, but it doesn't really matter in the long run. And now we have obtained the warrior shrine, and we need to get to the merchant shrine. This isn't really an optimization, but I definitely like to save here, just in case. Because you could get ambushed by the so-called Stoneguard Bull, and if you do, you usually die. And if you save there and then die, you appear at the save point and don't have to risk the same thing again. I don't know if you can really call this movement, but there is a chance to make it to the merchant shrine with no encounter. So if you wanna be really ballsy, you could just try to run all the way from the beginning. And, well, try your luck, I suppose. Can we even break them anyway? I don't think so, not with this combination. Unless we just flee, okay. And then we go to the merchant shrine. And then we make our way to Goldshore. Pretty much just a straight line. We can go behind these rocks here and hug the shoreline. The shoreline will push you to the right so you don't go into the water, I guess. And then we reach Goldshore. Wow. Once again, not really a movement optimization, but I like to scrutinize this guy already here, so we don't have to do it later. Because in the runs, usually this section is kinda uneventful, so it's easy to remember. This screen is a bit scary. You can't really affect the encounter rate, although okay, if your movement is good, maybe you could help with the encounter rate, but even with good movement, you can't really guarantee getting out of here encounterless. Once again, just try to run in straight lines as much as possible. And this is another screen where you might get an encounter. It's a pair of birds that usually destroy you. And here, unfortunately, you can't go behind the waypoint, as much as it looks like you might be able to. And after the save quit, we have to go down here, pick up the stone, and then on switch you can actually, with somewhat consistent success rate, walk over this bush. But apparently it wastes you even more steps than just going around it, and somehow I actually make it. Apparently just going around the bush is faster, in terms of steps. And for this screen you really do want to preserve steps, because once again, you could get the bird encounter, and the bird encounter is bad. Then some Grandport stuff. Very minor. That's the wrong thing. Very minor movement optimization, but once again, try to hug walls as much as possible, and straight lines. Here, once again, this is up to personal preference, but I like to purchase from that guy right away. And the one chest that we need to get to is behind this stone here. If you want to be a real Chad, you could go between here, but it's kind of hard and probably slower, so I don't do that. But if you want to look cool, I guess you can go behind there. And then we go into the bazaar. And this is another thing that I guess newer players might do wrong. I know I did myself. So you might think you want to go all around here and get to the chests. But what you should do is, when you come up here, you just run straight and here. Nice. And once again, this is for the Thief Shrine route. I know the Warrior route does things in a slightly different order, but the general movement guidelines should apply to both routes. Try to keep your movement as straight as possible. This is obviously a bit more difficult with keyboard. You can't really do diagonal movement the same way you can with controller, so sorry to all keyboard and mouse players. The Warrior route goes west from here, but since we are doing Thief Shrine, we have to go north. There's some slight movement, like here you go mostly straight and then a little bit down so you don't clip onto the ledges. And this clear brick screen is one of the longer ones, so movement here is kind of important. Try to keep close to the bridge railings. And then you just pray. And if you're a good gamer, you don't get the encounter. Okay, now the Thief Shrine. Once again, you mostly want to just run straight. Make sure you don't get caught on this corner or the ledge. Happens quite a bit to me. And then you either get the encounter or you don't. Get the Thief Shrine and then we'll be heading back to Sunshade and then to, what's the place called? Saintsbridge. Okay, actually, since we're still here, map movement, or opening the world map. You can just use or press minus. I don't know what the same button is on Xbox, but instead of going into the menu and opening world map, you can just press one button and move here. And for faster movement here on the map, you can hold down your R button and that will cause your cursor to move faster. Does it actually? Yeah, the difference is as noticeable on PC, but it does make it quite a bit faster on Switch especially. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you at the crossroads. Alright, and we are back at the crossroads. So this time we go west, which we would have done the first time around if we were on the Warrior route. And here we mostly run straight, then diagonal, and more straight. And on this screen you may or may not encounter the salamander, so movement is quite important, but even if you do good movement you might not get through. Utilize some diagonal movement to clear the corners smoothly and you'll make it through, alive. And now we are in Saintsbridge with Ophilia's Chapter 2. I don't think there's too much movement on this section. Alright, after the guiding and the cutscenes, we can finally make it to the Murkwood. Every Ophilia speedrunner's favorite place. Here movement actually does have quite an important role, so let's see what we can do. Once again, try to utilize diagonal movement as best as you can. Try to hug walls, but not too much so you don't bonk like I do. And then into the Murkwood we go. This is another section where especially new runners could go the wrong way. It's very easy, because I guess it's kind of just difficult to write down the correct path for it to make sense. Anyway, so usually the guideline is to follow the torches, not here though. You would think that you want to go all the way around the left, but instead we're going to take a path here through the middle. And that's quite a big shortcut instead of coming all the way from the left there. Then we just want to run straight behind this torch as well. No need to go around it. And we'll be getting the encounter in a moment. And I'll return to when we are done with that one. Okay, so after you get the encounter in the Murkwood, you want to do your menu. Yeah, menu time. Equipment here. I guess it doesn't really matter in which order you do things here, but once again you could press A and go into the equipment menu already, then press L to go to Tressa, instead of going up and then Tressa. I guess this is more important if you are on a controller, because you don't have as many fingers to play with. And then some job stuff. These menus can be a bit confusing. Like, okay, so yeah, first we have to, go into Ophilia, swap to Thief, and you can do skills in the job menu, which I didn't know in the beginning. And once again, we don't need to back out all the way to go to Cyrus. Instead, we can press R. Okay, not there. So we have to back out of the skill menu, then we can press R to go to Cyrus. And then same thing, back out, go to Tressa. And then, once again, once you're done with the jobs, you can press X or whatever your equivalent button is and get out of the menu right away. And here at the lower part of the woods, you can actually go behind this torch. so you don't have to go around. Very minor, like, step save, movement save? Time? Not really time save. Is it time save? I don't know. And then go all the way. Yeah, great. Alright, and now we are done with Ophilia's Chapter 2, and I'm kind of realizing there's a lot of just general menuing tips in here for it to be just a movement optimization guide. Anyway, so we have to go to the shop. I think the werewolf route does this a bit later. Yes, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, what we want to do is buy the bracelets. So you can do this in two different ways. You could either go to the bracelets here by just going normally down, or you could go into the accessory menu with R, or not R, L in this case. So how would you even do this? Buy L, go here, buy 6 of these. The upside with this is that you can press L again to get straight to the charm robe, which is very handy. Instead of having to go here, go up by this one, and then 2 inputs. I guess it's kind of input neutral since you have to press L here to begin with, instead of going up. Yeah, personal preference. And next up, I guess we're going to Goldshore. Once you get to Goldshore and start the chapter, there isn't really much. Like here you can, I guess, skip the cutscene. It's kind of quick to just mash through the text. But you do want to skip the cutscene for the actual quest completion. So here, we want to scrutinize this lady. Grab the chest here, and then you can actually go behind here and behind the guy as well to enter the cathedral. Don't have to go all the way around. And after bringing Daniel back to the cathedral, you want to go to Grandport. At least on the Thief Shrine route. I forget where you want to go. The werewolf route. I do know you want to pick up the werewolf at this point. So maybe you go back to Saintsbridge. I don't know. Anyway, we want to go to the Loch. Werewolf does this section much earlier. And this is important. You don't want to follow the torches here. Instead, you want to go to the right. Go around here. We want to get the chests up there on the hill. And there's a corner behind this rock thingy, so it's a bit hard to see. And then we go over the bridge, up here, and grab the other chest. Nothing too special. But definitely a bit difficult for new runners at times. If you don't know where the chests are. And here, you don't need to talk to Matthias. Now we head to the road to Seaside Grotto. This is one of the worst screens in the whole game. I absolutely despise it. If you really wanted to, I guess you could save here in case you get the encounter and just can't be bothered to break it. But as opposed to Tressa, Chapter 1, where you go up, here you actually want to go down. I've messed this up so many times when I started out running Ophilia, so I can't blame anyone who does the same mistake. And then the cutscene here. Actually, let's save here and maybe I can show the difference. So we're gonna get a cutscene once we try to enter the cave. Normally, you would just want to hold down B to skip the cutscene. Like so. We skip the cutscene, we wait a second, and then we run. Like so. Actually, this is a very bad showcase. But if we do that a bit differently, if we mash through the cutscene with, you know, the text, instead of cutscene skipping, we'll be able to get back control a bit faster. So now I'll mash through the cutscene. Like so, and then we run straight out of the cutscene. And I'll show it one more time with the cutscene skip, because the first time I showed it was not really fair. So once again, run into cutscene. We'll hold down B. I'm trying to run right out of the cutscene. We don't get to move right away, which we do get to do if we do mesh. So do that instead. Here, in terms of movement, just follow the torches, if I can remember correctly. Yeah. And this area is not as bad as the area outside. The encounters here are quite easy. Most of them can be broken with swords, which, well, we have mercenaries with 2 of our merchants, so they are quite easy to break in comparison. Once again, try to hug walls, use diagonals to your advantage. And if you're not sure where to go, just follow the torches and into the boss fight. And I failed there because I'm good. Alright, we are done with the hoodie guys. And if you need a soulstone of medium variety or size, you can go behind here. But most of the time, if everything has gone well, you probably don't need to pick it up. And then for movement, just follow the walls. Very simple. Okay, we have returned to Noblecourt to go to Ophilia 4. Here, if you want to, you could pick up an optional Grape M. It's right on the way, otherwise just run diagonal. We don't need any roads. Except in the next screen, where we follow the road all the way. But there's some optimization you can do here. Just follow the wall as good as you can without bonking. Bonking doesn't really cost you anything else than time. It should not affect your step count. And once you're done with the drakes, just run. Use diagonals. And we're in Wispermill. Wow! And once you get in here, I guess this could be called a slight optimization, but you can run, like, when you get here, and if you need the medium soulstone, you can grab this one while on the stairs, or you can just, you know, shop and then grab it. Doesn't really matter in which order you do it. And for shopping, you can also use the sub-menus every now and then, depending on what you want to sell. Here it's a bit awkward because, well, sure you can sell the black staff, but if you need to sell more, you have to go all the way to here. Actually, okay, I forgot to give the empowering bracelet to Tressa. Oops. There. And okay, that one I could have done in the equipment menu, but I was not thinking. Okay, how much money do we need here? 88.2. Okay. So here the black stuff is enough. And yeah. I guess I could bring this up now. This is turning into a menuing guide. But if you need to sell the unerring bracelet here, you can press to the right, and it will bring to the bottom of the current menu window. Or window? Screen? Whatever. Yeah, you can go right and then get the amp or unerring bracelet. We'll sell it just to show here. Very cool. Okay, so here, nothing much, just run straight, follow the torches, nothing special, honestly. It's a good rule of thumb to just follow the torches, except for some areas. Same thing here, follow torches. Try to utilize diagonals wherever you can, try to hug walls, and then we'll make it to the save point. Okay, and with that, we have gone through all of Ophilia's single story movement and stuff. I hope this was useful. I'm not entirely sure. Like, there are some sections that are kind of self-explanatory, but others aren't as easy to spot unless you go out experimenting. And the intention with this is to help everyone better their movement, because I've seen even some experienced runners do some questionable stuff when it comes to movement. And turns out I was giving out some general menuing tips as well, which wasn't the original intention, but if people like it, I guess I can include that in later guides as well. And as I said, I would like to do one of these for each single story. And if people really like this, I could do just a general movement guide with, you know, the whole map, or at least areas that usually get visited. Are visited? Areas that you usually visit in Octopath speedruns. Other than that, I don't think there is much. Once again, if there's anything you think I should add, or any areas you think I missed, let me know in the comments. And if you're looking for just general advice for this specific run, mainly the Ophilia Thief Shrine route, you can go and check out Sanjan's guide for that. Once again, I'll be linking that in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all once again for watching, and I hope this helped. But until next time, I've been Zazu, and bye bye.